Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as it is turning very warm, if not hot, as we head into early next week. Temperatures this weekend are going to be very pleasant, mid-20s, maybe even some higher 20s through Sunday afternoon, but it's really Monday to Wednesday next week where we could see those temperatures go even higher. Now it is looking very likely we see something around the 25 to 28 degree range, but there are a minority of runs, like the latest UKV, which are going for temperatures in excess of 30 degrees. Here we're seeing around 31 or 32 for quite large swathes of England and Wales. Now it is on the warmer end of the spectrum, as I said, but it is a real possibility. We'll just have to wait and see the likelihood of that as we head into next week. And then as we have a look at the longer range, the latest GFS, GM, ECMWF and the ensembles, it is continuing to look very warm for the medium to longer range as we head into early July. The only caveat is it could be turning slightly more unsettled, and that means we could be seeing some more thunderstorms. We are definitely looking like it's not going to be a massively dry and hot spell into early July. It could still be fairly decent in terms of temperatures, but we are likely to see lots of precipitation in the form of showers and thunderstorms. That's what the most likely outcome looks at this stage. So do remember, if you enjoy videos, which do like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the links in the description. Now if you start on the live radar, you can see it is pretty bone dry at the moment, very warm and very dry. There's a few odd showers here or there. We did see a weak weather front move through last night, but that's now completely cleared and it is sunny and warm for all. You can see further southwards across parts of Europe there are thunderstorms breaking out, and this is where we've got a bit more instability. For the next few days, we are going to avoid this instability completely, and that's why it is going to be pretty much bone dry and sunny. If you look at the temperatures this afternoon around 4 p.m, so we're just past the peak really in terms of temperatures for the day. But you can see lots of these oranges and some quite dark orange starting to appear across parts of England and Wales. Those are temperatures getting into the mid-20s, and it's going to be even higher, as I said, over the next couple of days. You can see much of northern and western Europe is warm, but nothing exceptionally warm. And that's because the air masses aren't particularly warm at the moment, but they will be increasing. You can see across much of southern, eastern Europe, it is very hot, and all that air is going to be heading our way over the next few days. So if you do have a look at the latest UKV, if we do start on the precipitation, you can see overnight last night we did see some showers moving through, but really through today it is dry and fairly sunny. That will continue into Sunday, where again it is very dry and sunny and very warm as well, temperatures even higher. And the same can be said as we head into Monday. The only caveat is there is the risk of a few odd showers further north and westwards, and that risk increases a little bit for Tuesday with maybe some persistent rain skirting around our northern and western coasts. And as we head into Wednesday, same can be said, a few showers just to the top left of the screen there. But most, it is still very warm and dry, for eventually into Thursday we could see that instability moving back in, which could bring the risk, as said, of showers and thunderstorms. But if we do look at the upper air temperatures, you can see they're not amazingly warm at the moment, and that's why the temperatures are only really into the low to mid-20s at best. The upper air temperatures are only hovering around average at the moment, but as we progress through the next few days, you can see it's slowly increasing by Sunday, consolidating for Monday, and really warming up with that wind veering from the southeast by Tuesday and Wednesday. Upper air temperatures maybe getting towards 15 or 16 degrees. That is well in the realm of low 30s. You can see though, into the final few frames of this run, much cooler air moving in from the north and the west. That is going to be accompanied by more instability, more lower pressure, and that's where we could see some thunderstorms. We'll keep having a look at Cape levels, as that will give us the big indication of whether we see any major thunderstorms. So you can see over the next 5 days, nothing too high. So it does mean we're not looking at big thunderstorms in the imminent future, but maybe in 6-7 days' time, second half of next week, that's where that risk could become quite widespread. If you look at the max temperatures, you see through this afternoon, as I said, low to mid-20s, maybe 23, 24 at best, so very warm, but nothing too exceptional. As we head into Sunday, temperatures are fairly similar, if not slightly higher. 25, 26 is possible. Then look at Monday, temperatures even higher, 27, 28, and widely 25 to 26. And then as we head into Tuesday, we could just about nudge 30 degrees. You can see here temperatures maybe 27 to 29, an isolated 30, very possible. And then finally, if we look at Wednesday, look at that widely around the 28 to 30 degree mark, maybe 31 or even a 32 somewhere. I must emphasize though, the UKV here is on the warmer end. Majority of runs don't quite get us into the 30s. They keep us more around the mid to high 20s. So don't expect 30 degrees, but it is possible at this stage. And the closer we get to the time and the UKV is still showing this sort of air mass, this sort of warmth, then the possibility does continue to increase. We'll have to wait and see, but definitely looking encouraging for something much warmer and drier into next week. Now, if we do have a look at the latest GFS, see what that has got in store for us as we head into the early part of July. You can see that high pressure building in over the next few days with southerly winds, very warm and dry. Then eventually some lower pressure does nudge in, and again it doesn't look too extreme here, but it will bring the risk of thunderstorms. If you look at the precipitation, you can see lots of thunderstorms breaking out across much of northern and western Europe, and that is all that instability arriving later next week. So yeah, unfortunately does look like it could be having a bit of a thundery breakdown there. As we progress beyond that, we still see lots of higher pressure building in, but we will see outbreaks of lower pressure at times, and that will give us more mixed air masses and mixed conditions in terms of precipitation. So I do think showers, thunderstorms are looking very likely, but I also think dry days will be there as well. Just not quite as persistent in terms of dry conditions like we're seeing, or we've seen over the last couple of days, and what we're going to see over the next 4 or 5. Do compare to the latest GM. Again, high pressure building at the moment, very warm and very dry into early next week. Eventually low pressure pushes through by Thursday, Friday next week. But beyond that, towards day 10, high pressure actually takes back control and it actually goes fairly decent once again. Air mass not particularly warm here after that low pressure moves through. It will bring a bit of fresher air after the very warm conditions that we can see through Wednesday and Thursday. This is in line with UKV, so GM on the warmer end as well. But into early next week, it does start to drop off a little bit. And we do see slightly cooler conditions, but still looking fairly dominant in terms of high pressure for early July. Now, if you finally compare to the latest ECMWF, again, high pressure slowly building in. Much warmer and dry conditions into early next week. Eventually, low pressure pushes back through. And it does kind of hang around all the way to day 10, unfortunately. So that does mean that it could actually remain relatively unsettled with thunderstorms. The caveat, though, is the wind direction is coming up from the south. So yes, there would be plenty of thunderstorms, but it would remain fairly dry as well, which is one very positive thing. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how this does play out, because all 3 runs do go very warm and dry over the next 5 or 6 days, then have some sort of breakdown latter part of next working week, and then beyond that still up for debate whether it stays warm and dry with some thunderstorms or goes slightly cooler and more generally unsettled. Now, if we finish by looking at the latest ensembles, you can see this well reflected from the latest GFS. Big rise in upper air temperatures early next week, around 5 or 6 degrees above average. And then we see a little bit of a drop off into the final few days of June. That's later next week. And that's where we do see some precipitation picking up. So slightly fresh conditions, showers and thunderstorms pushing in. And then beyond that, we've got lots of up and down conditions. Not massive amount of precipitation either, so it just shows you there is massive uncertainty into early July, but the indications from the operational runs that we're seeing at the moment does support the fact that it could be very mixed. It could be very dry and warm, but also could be very unsettled at the same time. If you look at the 2 meter temperatures, you can see rising quite highly, sort of mid to high 20s for a long period of time early next week, and then dropping back down towards the low 20s, but lots of up and down there, so I wouldn't look at those in too much detail at this stage. And if you do finally finish by looking at the latest ECMWF ensembles, you can see very warm conditions, upwards trend into early next week, peaking in around 5 or 6 days' time. The ECMWF operational run there is very warm indeed, or even hot, going 16 or 17 degrees at 850 HPA, before we all see a drop off towards the last couple of days of June. So a little bit more unsettled with more precipitation spikes but also those temperatures are dropping down, and that's all due to that low pressure system coming in from the west or southwest, not only bringing in slightly fresher air, but also that instability for all those showers and thunderstorms. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it does play out. Again, it's 6 to 7 days away, so it could change quite significantly, and things like this are known to change, as the low pressure causing this is a very small, weak area of low pressure, but nonetheless, it is going to make up quite a big change if it does push in. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. But for the time being, enjoy the very warm and dry conditions. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot next week, but we'll keep monitoring that for you here. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.